In this video, we're going to be going over what are the 5 best sniper support options inside Warzone after the Season 5 Reloaded update, and this is the final meta when it comes to sniper support guns inside this game. So like I said, it's going to be a great video. But on top of that, if you do want to check out extra content when it comes to this kind of dry period between now and Modern Warfare 2, subscribe to our second channel. We're posting a lot of content over there about other games like Overwatch and FIFA. So if you want to see other content, don't forget to subscribe to that. But let's get straight into it. So first things first, we're going to go over our spreadsheet. So we've got an SMG spreadsheet and an AR/LMG spreadsheet, but we're mainly focusing on the ARs when it comes to that one. And that is because sniper support weapons are made up of full auto guns that are got decent movement and have a very consistent TTK from medium and kind of long-ish range. But for the most part, you're going to be using it at close, medium, and maybe sometimes you'll try and extend the range on some of these weapons, but mainly you should be using your sniper at those longer distances. So when it comes to SMGs, first of all, we're going to order it in times of TTK. And we're going to be looking at the second damage drop-off point, not the first damage drop-off. That's mainly reserved for actual SMG builds. And if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link at the end of this video. We've already covered that. When it comes to the actual sniper support weapons here, so we've got the Mark 5 Akimbo, so that's not going to make any sense because using an Akimbo weapon at medium range is not ideal. And then the same when it comes to the Vanguard PPSH, this is a hip-fire build, so not really ideal. The Sten, we all know the recoil in the Sten's a bit crazy. When it comes to Type 100, the mag capacity isn't the best, so, I mean, it doesn't really make sense to use this either. And then we are at the Armada, which I do think is a solid sniper support gun. I've been saying it for a long time now, and we do have a slightly adjusted build for that. Then we've got the Mark 5, which is personally my favourite sniper support weapon. I think it's probably one of the best, and again, is definitely a solid choice. We've got the CX9 in here as well. We've got the Fennec, which is just not ideal because mag reasons. Mac 10 is actually not too bad, but again, I think because you get 10 attachments on the Vanguard weapons, that are going to be better choices. Now moving on to the assault rifle section, and basically the opposite to what we looked at for the SMGs, we're going to look at the first damage range in terms of TTK and order that. So first of all, we've got the AS44. Now we all kind of know, even though they have buffed the recoil in the AS44 a couple of times, it's still not all that valuable as a sniper support, especially in those kind of longer distances, so it doesn't really make sense to use that. AS-Val, mag capacity is too small. Volk is where we actually start getting a solid sniper support. Nikita is not too bad either. Then we've got a couple of LMGs, so I mean, those are not really going to be good sniper support options just because of the fact that they're going to be super slow. And then we've got the FFAR, and as you know from the Season 5 Reloaded update, we actually got a buff to the ADS time on the FFAR, and that was one of the main reasons why people stopped using it. So now we can actually go back to using the FFAR, strafe meta, everything like that, and try and get a good build with it. And now we've got the Cooper Carbine, which is pretty much one of the best long-range rifles in the game, but it's also one of the best sniper supports in the game. So starting off with our honorable mention, we're going to give it to the Cooper Carbine, and that's because it's mainly a long-range rifle, but you can definitely build it to be a sniper support. And the slight adjustments you do want to make to the kind of long-range build. So first of all, you want to apply the recoil booster for the faster fire rate. It's going to give you a better TTK. Now it will con your recoil a little, but considering how good the recoil control on this gun is, it doesn't really matter too much. Cooper custom barrel, there's no other barrel you should be using for this weapon. Slate reflector, we're using the skeletal stock this time, so we get a bit more movement speed. But if you just want the extra control, then you can just basically put the same one you would for the long range build. Tight grip still for the control, on hand for better ADS, fabric grip for better movement and ADS times. Again, you could just put the polymer on there if you want to. 60 rounds lengthened, and then the Carver foregrip this time round, and that's just so that we've got a bit more hip fire accuracy if we need to use it. At number 5, we have a gun that I've been wanting to put on this list for such a long time now, and that is the FFAR1. Now this gun was one of my favorite guns in Warzone, especially when it was meta as ground loot. I actually really enjoyed the FFAR1. People might not have enjoyed that meta, but that was something that I really did enjoy. The FFAR with the Mac 10, a super close range class setup, but it worked perfectly well on Verdansk. You're thinking back at it now, it just sounds so cool, but we do have a slight variation on that. So when it comes to the build, you get the agency suppressor. This is going to give you a bit extra control because we're not really using any control attachments here, so we're mainly using it for that reason. Now if you don't really care too much about the control, I would highly recommend the standard suppressor because it will give you a bit better ADS time and therefore not conning your movement too much. So that is what I would personally recommend. But for most people, the agency suppressor would be the best. Ultralight, because it does help with strafe speed, and it actually got an even bigger bonus with the Season 5 Reloaded update. So that's going to bring that strafe meta back for the FFAR. Then we've got the Raider stock. So again, whilst you're firing and strafing, it will be relatively quick compared to some of the other weapons in the game. Maybe not as quick as some of the Vanguard weapons, but it's still something that we want to all try out. Then we've got the Serpent Wrap for the better ADS time. You could put the Tiger Teeth Spotlight on there, but I do feel like the ADS is still a little bit too slow for my liking, and that's why I put Serpent. And then the 50 round mags, and we're using the standard Stanag again, so we don't con the ADS too much. At number 4, we have the Nikita, and this is a gun that is not something I'm a huge fan of, but it's definitely a solid sniper support option regardless. They have buffed the recoil on it since it got added into the game, and it is pretty viable. But I think one of the main reasons why people don't really choose this is because the recoil booster doesn't actually help with fire rate, but if it did, it would actually be a really solid choice. However, what we are using is a stabilizer to help with the side-to-side recoil, because we don't want any of that. We are using the sniper barrel, which is the best for giving you bullet velocity. Slate reflector, the Zach MX stock. Now you can also choose the folding stock to get better movement speed. Both are solid choices here, but I think you need the control. Then when it comes to perk, we are using Fleet for the better movement speed. I wouldn't really recommend any of the recoil controlling ones here. We don't really need those. On hand, we are using the fabric grip, but here is where you can put on the polymer or the hatch grip if you need the extra control. Then we are using the 50 round mags, which are the best. The 60 round mags do give you recoil control, but they con your bullet velocity, which is not what we need here. We are using lengthened and then the Carver foregrip. At number 3, we have another assault rifle sniper support, and that is the Volk. Now the Volk's actually been a really solid sniper support since the beginning, really. However, now it's definitely kind of settled itself in the meta, especially with some of the adjustments they've made, not recently, but within the last couple of updates. So you do want to use the recoil booster. You definitely want to use the Krosnick barrel, which gives you the best control. Slate reflector, the adjustable stock, you can also choose the Krosnick. Both are really good options, but I just prefer the extra movement. Fleet for movement, you could choose steady, you could choose gung ho as well. On hand for the better ADS time. Polymer grip for the better control. You can also use the fabric grip if you really want extra ADS time. Then we are using the 45 round Grenko mags, which are the best for this gun now. It used to be the 60, but now it's the 45 round Grenko. Lengthened and in the Carver foregrip. This is overall a really solid sniper support weapon. At number 2, we have the Marco 5, which is personally my favorite gun right now when it comes to sniper supports. I think it's well rounded as an SMG, but also, like I said, as a sniper support weapon. So you do want to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate. The Imreto barrel is the best at controlling recoil, so you want to use that one. Slate reflector, Imreto, FR stock. So none of that's really changed from the SMG build, to be fair. We are using Frenzy still. You could choose any other perk you like as long as it's not akimbo. Perk 2 is quick as always in here. Now here is where the changes will take place to make this gun an actual sniper support. And the rear grip, we're using the hatch grip to get the extra control in the weapon. But you can also use the polymer grip, and you can also use the tape grip if you just want movement speed. You can definitely do that. The reason why I'm saying that is because the Nambu mags for sniper support are definitely the best option. Now, I know they con your bullet velocity a little, but it's a good sacrifice because it doesn't con it too much, and is definitely worth it using to get the extra recoil control. And then you want to use lengthened to bring up that bullet velocity again. And then you can use the skeletal underbarrel or you can use the Carver foregrip. Both are really good choices, to be fair. The skeletal underbarrel I would use personally just to kind of negate the movement con from the Nambu mags, but again, if you don't really mind moving a little bit slower, then you could use the Carver foregrip. Last but not least, and you probably guessed it, is the Armada. This gun has been pretty solid for a while now, and even though it did get a nerf, it's still a solid choice when it comes to sniper supports and SMGs, to be perfectly honest with you. So overall, it's still a really solid gun. So you do want to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate. Imreto barrel is going to be the best at controlling recoil. Slate reflector, you actually want to use the folding stock this time. In the SMG video, I actually said the TA skeletal, but that's going to con your recoil way too much. You do get insane strafes with that, but the folding will be the best way forward this time round. Then we are using hard scope, and that is so we can get better control. Quick, then we are using the polymer grip in this case, but you can also use the tape grip if you just want better movement. When it comes to magazine attachments, we're using the 55 round mags, which are overall the best option. You can use the 64 round mags. Now it does con your recoil a little, However, the TTKs are not too different anyway, so if you just want the extra capacity, then you can do it. If you feel like you can control the weapon lengthened and enhanced up underbarrel to get the best possible control. And there we have it. Those are the 5 best sniper support guns for Season 5 after the Reloaded update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.